Keep an eye out for action unfolding in turn 1. This is the primary overtaking spot of Catalonia, as it's a heavy braking zone at the end of a long DRS straight. The chicane of turn 14 and 15 is often criticised for slowing up the field and disrupting qualifying. However, it does have its uses. Its slow nature compared to the rest of the circuit can give the teams useful insight into what vehicle setups are going to be the most powerful at Monaco GP, a race that often...
Hello everybody and welcome to the Spanish Grand Prix here of round 3 in CTCR. We've got, well, a lot of teams on the grid but not many drivers. Only 9 have managed to turn up today, which, well, it's unfortunate. There's a lot of people away. Of course, it is the weekend of Christmas, but I think we're projected to have 13, which again wouldn't have been that bad, and there's 4 people who have decided to not even notify me of not joining, so they won't be going down in my good books. But we're underway for what is the 3rd round of so far a very interesting season here in Catalonia, the brand new Catalonia. Although I say brand new, it's now in the game 2 years. We'll have to see. Last time out it was a dominant display from SLR Quattro, who will be in the Red Bull today. But it's going to be up to those of Alfie, maybe Caden, possibly even drivers like even Owen Curry to be able to stop that. So here we are on board with Caden for the first lap here around Spain. So down to turn 1 and now up through 2. We've got a good run here, flat out all around 3 to get a wide run. Now brake at the 50-meter board heading into 4, drop down to 4 to get on the power as quickly as possible, try not to lose the rear end as we drop now down to 5, probably one of the most difficult corners on this track. Again, getting down to 3rd on the power and up towards 7 and 8, staying off that yellow curve if you can before they nearly flat out turn 9, trying not to invalidate on the exit. On the run now down towards the start of sector 3 of the new tarmac, turn 10 and up towards 11, and now onto the brand new part of the track. It's the flat out penultimate corner of turn 12, and then just a slight drop through 13 to the line. It's a 1:11.2 for Caden. Behind him will be Marshy. He drops a little bit further behind. Then it's SJ Williams who goes even further behind of that. Owen Curry will be next. So after that comes ETA Tiago, one of our reserves for today. It's also confirmed that SJ Williams is a brand new full-time driver here in the league. After picking up 2 consecutive points finishes, this could be a 3rd for him. He is racing now for AlphaTauri with Syke dropping out after last round. Here's ETA Tiago to the line. He goes 2nd fastest with an 11.6 before one of the last race winner powers to the line. WOR Alfie goes fastest with a 1:11.1. Can Quattro do anything about that as he comes round the final corner to the line? And Quattro goes fastest of everyone with 11 flat. So this could be the race where everything comes around for Quattro. Hyper's next to the line for Hyper. He must have had a problem. I know he's not one of the best laps you could have asked for. So when Curry now comes to the line and he goes 4th fastest, so of course 2 consecutive podiums for Owen Curry. He's hoping to make that 3 today. See what he can do later on. So riding on board with Hyper, who's on a lap. He aborted his first lap and is now heading straight into another one. He is 16 seconds up on his time. So a little bit more gain now through the final few corners. He could be looking and getting amongst the rest of the pack. As Hyper now comes around the final corner and to the line, Hyper goes 7th fastest. Rando comes to the line and he goes slowest of them all with a 12.3.3, and that is the end of the first part of qualifying.
Grand Prix has been held in Spain since 1913, although officially the first F1 GP was held here in 1951 and has been a staple of the calendar almost every year since it was first hosted. From 2007 to 2016, the Spanish GP was won by a different driver every year. Winners include modern legends such as Kimi Räikkönen, Jenson Button and Sebastian Vettel. 7 of the 10 winners were or would go on to be world champions. Although I'm sure it comes as no surprise due to their extensive history within the sport, Ferrari are the most successful constructors in Spain.
SJ Williams now starting his second lap here, making his full-time Tier 1 debut. It is just to be said, as he heads, and he has matched his time through the first sector, ever so slightly down on his time, but that's all can be gained through this next part of the track. But we'll have a look at Alfie, who is going to be next to start a lap. We're right on board with him to see how much he can improve by. While we wait for SJ Williams to come to the end of his lap now, he improves and goes 7th fastest. After that will come Marshy around the final corner now, and Marshy goes up to 4th. And then Owen Curry will be starting a lap, Quattro and Caden shortly, and then it will be Tiago, and then Alfie will come after that. Alfie has aborted his lap, so that is enough of that. Caden has invalidated, Tiago improves to go 4th, so we're right on board with Quattro looking to improve on his already quite impressive time. And he did improve in the first sector. He's gone purple in the middle. He's still just ever so slightly down in his time. And now is there rain possibly coming in order to disrupt all of this? And he has decided to come into the pits.
Top of their game this weekend. Although due to their extent instructors in Spain.
Hyper is up on his time. Coming to the end of his lap now, through the penultimate corner he goes. Hyper. Around the final corner now. Does improve by a lot, but can only go 7th fastest. So from first down to 9th, all only separated by a second. Surprisingly, but there's still a lot more that can improve. Frando's had a bit of a problem down there at turn 4. Seems to be having problems in qualifying right throughout the night, but he's back on the way. Hayden comes into the pits with his invalidated lap. Ooh, that's a big spin there from Rando. Just as he's coming into the pits there, you'd want to be a bit careful. And that is everybody in the pit lane before we get back underway.
Grand Prix has been held in Spain since 1913, although officially the first F1 GP was held here in 1951 and has been a staple of the calendar almost every year since it was first hosted. During the 2022 season, newly crowned world champion Max Verstappen won the Spanish GP and subsequently broke Lewis Hamilton's 5-year win streak. Although I'm sure it comes as no surprise due to their extensive history within the sport, Ferrari are one of the most successful constructors in Spain, with wins into the double digits.
We have some movement down in the pit lane. And it's going to be Caden who's going to start his final lap before anyone else. So he's looking at a near 2/10 improvement in order to pick up pole this afternoon. As he's out of the pit lane now. The track doesn't seem to be damp or anything like that, it's just the conditions. So the track should be getting better as far as rubber being laid down on it. Caden is going to finish off qualifying and hopefully better than the way he has started it. So here goes Caden, starting his final lap of this session as he flies down the main straight, nobody in his way. Should be a clean run all the way down towards turn 1. Now that is just barely up on his time. Hoping that the Aston Martin does get out of his way. He does. Now Caden down in through 5 and up towards 7 and 8. Stays off the curb. And now on the run down towards 10. We'll find out now how far up is he on his time. It's not that much, only about 0.05 of a second. And he needs to improve his whole lap here through the final part as he heads through the final corner now. Caden, to the line he goes. It is! What an improvement at the end of his lap. Caden is on provisional pole. Now he's going to need a lot of luck in order to stay on provisional pole. SJ Williams and Marshy doing laps side by side here at the moment. Marshy needs about a 4/10 improvement for pole. SJ Williams looking at nearly over 9/10 to improve, so I don't think he'll be in for pole, but he definitely can see that top 5 is a possibility if he can string all the laps all the time together in his final lap here as he heads up and hopefully avoids the Williams of Thiago. He does, and now towards the final end of the middle sector he has matched his time, so he really needs to do what Caden done and put his foot down here at the final part of the lap. Marshy has abandoned his lap. He will go again. Caden, I think himself, is also going to just harvest and see if he can go again. He might have put some extra fuel in the car as SJ Williams comes around the final corner and to the line. It is a 2/10 improvement. It won't improve his position, but it puts him a little bit further up. Thiago now starting his final lap. We'll see him very soon. After that comes Alfie. Quattro's up on his time, but we'll ride on board with Alfie as Caden has retired. He could be on pole at the moment. He is on pole. We'll see what Quattro can do. He's going to come around the final corner now. He is improving. How much is he improving by as Quattro goes to the line? And it is going to be provisional pole for SLR Quattro. A 1:10.9. That's going to be hard to beat. But Alfie is 0.5 up on it now as he's heading down towards turn 5. Everything is in this lap for Alfie if he's going to be looking at pole position here as he heads now up towards turn 9 as qualifying now comes to a close. Alfie towards 10. He is down on his time, so like Caden, he's going to really have to put his foot down in the final part of this lap if he wants pole off SLR Quattro. It's looking like Quattro is going to have his first pole of the season, but we'll see what Alfie can do to stop it. Round the final corner, DRS opened to the line. It is an improvement, but it's not going to be enough for pole. Marshy is not improving. Oven Curry is in the gravel. Last is Rondo, who is 6/10 down. That's qualifying over. It's pole position for SLR Quattro, and he knows it. A brilliant end to qualifying with the race coming up next.
Here in Catalonia, it's the wind that poses the biggest problem for our drivers.
Looks like it's going to be a full dry race here. We'll see what will happen down towards turn 1 with Caden and Quattro on the front row. So Quattro will start on pole on the hards with 3 behind them, all on the Quattro on the softs, 3 behind them, all on the hards. Marshy starts on the mediums along with Hyper and SJ Williams. They are the 2 alongside Owen Curry, with Rando starting from the back on softs as we're ready to get underway here for the first race. Here we go. To 5 red lights here for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. It's a good getaway from Caden on the hard tyres as they both crowd down towards turn 1. It's looking like Quattro did get the best getaway though. He's going to take the lead. Down the inside there goes Tiago. Caden's been sandwiched there by the Mercedes as Alfie goes off and onto the rumble strips and will lose out a place because of that. So Quattro leads from Caden, from Tiago, from Alfie, and then after that comes Marshy, and then Owen Curry looking down the inside of the McLaren. After that comes Hyper, then SJ Williams with Rando right at the back, and Tiago's going to launch one down the inside of Caden Conway here, down in towards turn 5, and Tiago, they're still side by side, but he gets in front and up in the second place as Quattro is flying away out front here and already has a 1.5 second lead from the rest of the pack, as we can see them all crowd down towards turn 10 now. It's Tiago from Caden, from Alfie, from Owen Curry, from Marshy, all separated by less than a tenth or less than a second, with Quattro's lead almost stretching to 2 seconds now already on these soft tyres. How far can he get ahead before he gets his tyres changed, which probably won't be that long. Caden looking down the inside of Tiago here, and Caden gets the move and is up into second place yet again here on lap 2, and is hoping now to try and keep it for a little bit longer, but how much longer can he keep it as Rando has gone round there at turn 3. Caden and Tiago very close to each other, all of the top 5 really closely separated on the opening laps of this race. Quattro still flying out front, and his lead has almost come to 3 seconds now. Oh, was Alfie tagged styrofoam there on the final corner, sent it flying off into the barriers. Quattro sets the fastest lap of this race. Tiago's looking here at Caden, and he's going to try and go around the outside. Caden shuts the door on that move. It's a nice defending as the Williams and Ferrari drivers are going well at it here. It's like 1995 here, as ET8 Tiago dives down the inside of 4 and has got the place back yet again. Caden now going to be the one chasing as she starts to drop a little bit further back, but he's also at the same time getting a little bit further away from Owen Curry here. Lap 3 of this race, DRS is enabled, and we're going to see the rear wing finally get open here on this straight, as Caden is going to hunt down Tiago and look back for second place. Tiago keeps the place. Quattro still gaining a lot out front, with his gap nearly being 4 seconds now. Here goes Caden, chasing down Tiago here. Down towards turn 1 he goes. Caden Conway is up into second place, and Alfie is going to see if he can join him. Yes, he can. Both of them get by Tiago on this straight, and Alfie's going to look now. He's been stuck in a DRS train for a while. If he can get by Caden and maybe get up into second place as he goes for it down the inside of turn 4. Is he going to be able to stick the move? Caden's going to try and hold on to it round the outside, and he does manage to do that, but Alfie is still going to be alongside here, and he's going to get the better run on the run down towards turn 7, and Alfie's up in the second place. Last race's race winner, showing why he is a race winner. A brilliant overtake from the Mercedes driver, and he's up into second place. And we'll see now if these tyres are going to be able to chase down SLR Quattro's soft tyres, as all the drivers still in a DRS train from second down to 8th. As Rando has had another problem here, and he has beached the car. And of course now he is allowed to reset the track. The car is beached on the curb. He is back underway. Caden gets back by Alfie. He missed just down and towards 1 there. These are going to be battling pretty much all race. These 3 out front starting to pull away from Owen Curry, as Rando has another problem down at turn 11, and Quattro is just enjoying the nice fresh air out there in Spain. His lead is now 5 seconds. What's happened there? Nothing. I thought Caden lost it for a second. I was wondering why Alfie was in second and Caden was nowhere in sight, but Caden was in second, and I didn't see it on the standings. So here goes Alfie now, chasing down Caden. As Quattro is starting to get reeled in a little bit, those tyres are going to start wearing. As Alfie is going to get into second place. And now they are starting to reel in Quattro on those softs. And I'm going to look to get by him. Oh, and ETA Owen has gone into the back of Caden, and Caden has spun round into turn one. Caden is spun round and is down to the back of the pack now. ETA Owen with a slight collision gets by him, and Owen Curry has took that opportunity to go down the inside of all of them and get through, as SJ Williams also is down the inside, and he's up into fourth here on his full-time CTCR debut. Brilliant racing so far, but it's all falling apart, especially for Caden Conway's race, as Tiago's just tapped the back of him and he's sent him off into the grass. Alfie will be rubbing his hands together because he now has the DRS gap away, as Tiago has decided to go and let Caden back by. We're 8 laps into this race, and Alfie has gotten a little bit of a break from the DRS, as SJ Williams is going to look to close in on Owen Curry. The gaps are now starting to appear, as 4 here at the back between 5th down to 8th will all be battling for that one position. In front of them is Owen Curry and SJ Williams, both battling for the podium. Owen Curry looking to pick up his 3rd podium of the week, with Alfie and Quattro will soon be battling for the lead of the race. Hyper's under a lot of pressure here from Caden. Caden just trying to put him out of shape and try and work his way back through the pack. He is now over 9 seconds off the lead, though. It's going to be hard for him to get his first win of the season here in Spain. As Caden is going around the final corner now. DRS opened. He's going to put a bit of pressure on Hyper here. And Caden is up into 6th place. So everyone pretty much separated by a second now. Of course, with SJ Williams starting to fall off from Owen Curry. Caden will put pressure on Marshy, and I'm pretty sure Marshy is going to now start to try and close in on SJ Williams as well, there, as they all look to try and get that podium. So here goes Caden now, 5/10 away from Marshy. As he gets by Marshy, Tiago is going to look down the inside of Hyper, and both drivers who were battling earlier on for second and third are now gotten up the places to 5th and 7th. So now it's up to Caden to fire away from this pack and put a bit of pressure as Marshy gets out of shape there through 4 and is going to start to fall away from Caden. Caden's going to start to put some more pressure on SJ Williams, but out front still looking very comfortable for SLR Quattro, who's at the end of the straight. He's at the end of the second DRS straight, quicker than Alfie is starting it, which just shows how big his lead is. And I'm guessing he'll try and come into the hards in and around lap 13, possibly even the mediums if he so tries to do that, as Hyper has had a problem and he's off at turn 11. And that is looking like, unless there's a safety car, Hyper is going to fall further and further away from the pack. He's into the pits now to get his change of tyres. Hyper, one of the drivers who benefited off last year's really tricky traction, unfortunately has fallen very far behind now because of the new kind of easier traction system. See Caden and the pack start to close in on SJ Williams here. Marshy and Tiago have managed to follow him in behind, and Caden now within the 5/10, which normally takes to overtake down this straight, is going to close in on SJ Williams. He'll have a tow, he'll have DRS, and you can see him gaining and gaining and gaining. And as he moves to the inside, Caden gets the place and is up into 4th place. A strong move from Caden. And now he's going to chase back to that podium he was once in as ET8. Tiago gets by Imarshy, the Portuguese driver, is up into 6th. As SJ Williams has retired and the safety car is out. Williams has had trouble down at turn 9 and he is out of this race on his full-time Tier 1 debut, and that is perfect timing for SLR Quattro to come into the pits and get on his new set of tyres, and pretty much everyone will join him. It's also going to give a chance now for Rando to catch up. He's onto the mediums, so is Alfie. Owen Curry will as well. Caden has just come onto it there, as Tiago now is also going to come on to those tyres. And Marshy, who obviously started on the mediums, comes out on the hards. And Quattro catches up to the safety car now, and we have a few laps of nothingness until we're back underway, more than likely lap 15 or 16.
7 of the 10 winners were or would go on to be world champions.
So safety car is in this lap, and Quattro is going to lead us away for the second half of this race. 8 drivers left, 8 drivers all lined up and ready to go. Look how close Alfie is to the back of Quattro's wing, and he has gotten a good getaway, Alfie, and he's going to get a good tow all the way down this straight. Quattro tries to break it, but Alfie is gaining, he's going to go to the inside here on Quattro, and Alfie dives down the inside, but Quattro's going to keep the place. Alfie's going to keep battling with him as they head now down towards turn 4, through the long right-hander of turn 3. Quattro still in the lead as Tiago gets back by Caden Conway, and he's up into the top 4. As we see Owen Curry going to launch one round the outside here of Alfie, and he'll get the better exit here down towards 7. Alfie just got by him here a few moments, Caden I should say, a few moments ago, and he has managed to defeat his own trick as Owen Curry gets out of shape, and Tiago nicks by him at turn 9, and he's back up into the podium places as well. Quattro defending off the early scare. As Alfie will be chased now by Tiago for second place. They're more than halfway through this race now. As Hyper and Rando seem to be falling away from the rest of the pack. Everyone all the way down to 6. Any of them could be in with a chance of a podium this afternoon. All it takes is one moment and the race could be completely split open. As they all kind of sit in this DRS train, but Alfie is unable to get close because Quattro's just so quick through this final part of the lap that Alfie is just not quick enough in order to keep up with Quattro. But DRS is now going to be re-enabled on this lap, and we're ready to get underway with some closer racing as Caden gets by Owen Curry, and Caden is up into fourth, and we're back to the original four there was roughly 10 laps ago. So with DRS now available, Alfie is a little bit closer to Quattro than he has been on previous laps, but it looks like Quattro is still going to be too far away for a move to be made. We're on lap 19 out of 33 as Quattro leads the way. Caden and Thiago had a bit of a moment there again that I've had to miss him. Owen Curry and Marshy have both just got back by him. There goes Thiago on Ian Marshy down into turn 1. Owen gets by and Marshy has had a problem. He's off into the gravel, and Rando, well, that's an unsafe re-entry if anything from Marshy. That is not Rando's fault there. As Thiago's overtake on Marshy has unfortunately backfired a lot for Marshy himself. Quattro and Thiago move back up into 5th and 4th as Caden picks up a time penalty with track limits, but that might not bother him for long because as Caden gets by Thiago and is up into 4th. Alfie and Quattro still battle out front here. Roughly 10 laps or so to go. Alfie's still chasing Quattro. Quattro's led every lap of this race. It is Alfie though as the fastest lap. As with close to 11 laps remaining, it's Mercedes against Red Bull for... Oh, and what's happened there? Somebody spun off. It's Owen Curry, and he's hit his wing and the safety car is out. And Caden has taken that opportunity to quickly come into the pits. Quattro won't be able to get by the safety car in time. And it's going to be a wide open race now for the drivers on the soft tyres, because Alfie and Quattro are going to have to go around at a slowed pace, and Caden has a huge chance of now being able to win this race on the soft tyres with around 10 or so laps to go. Owen Curry stays out, surprisingly, even with his damaged wing. I'm sure he'll peel into the pits the lap after this. So he was more than likely going to come out last anyway. But this race is now wide open because the two drivers out front have definitely got themselves hurt by the safety car. And really anyone can win this now.
But it was here in Catalonia that Max Verstappen won his very first Grand Prix in 2016. As a result, he has earned himself a number of records.
So Quattro, even with the safety car slowing them up, they are going to come into the pits anyway, which means that Caden Conway is going to lead this race, and for the first time since, well, Spain or for the first time since the US Grand Prix, we have a different race leader from SLR Quattro, as he has led pretty much every lap of this race, but unfortunately he will drop behind. Now it is going to be interesting to see whether or not he can kick on now, overtake the next few cars, and ends up on the podium. Rando and Hyper gonna try and be able to stop that. We'll have to wait and see. So the safety car is in this lap, and we will have 9 laps of racing to go. Caden is gone, and Tiago is close behind them. Of course, Caden, the only driver with that penalty, may come back to bite him later in the race. He'll drop to 8th actually so far with that penalty as he heads down towards turn 1, and they try and break away from the leaders. Quattro right on the back of Rando here, looking to get fourth as quickly as possible. He's going to look for it down the inside here into 4, and it is a lovely overtake from SLR Quattro, probably the best of the weekend so far, and it's looking like Alfie is going to follow him through and get up as well into 4th or 5th place, I should say. Tiago gaining on Caden, and Quattro starting to gain now on Hyper as he goes up the crest of 9 and is going to run all the way down towards 10. He's gaining on Hyper. He's not going to be close enough here. We're right on board with Quattro. He's just able to get on the power a little bit earlier than the rest of them here. Caden's going to be under a lot of pressure from Tiago soon. We will have a look here now. Look how close Tiago is to the back of the Ferrari there. But we'll also look at how close Quattro is to the back of Hyper. Tiago is going for it on Caden here, and it's going to be ETA Tiago to take the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. It's looking like it's going to be big points for Williams here today, as with 8 laps remaining, the Williams driver is into the lead, and Quattro has got by Hyper and is up into the podium places again. Alfie going to look to follow him through. He was thinking of going down the inside. He just about avoided a possible collision there. As Alfie is going to gain on Hyper himself. And we're going to see a nice move down the inside. We are from Alfie. He's gone for it and he's got the move done. A brilliant dive from the Mercedes driver, and he has moved himself up into 4th place. A lovely overtake, and he is now going to start to chase the leaders as well, as Quattro is starting to gain on Caden here, and on the run down to 1, it's looking like Caden will keep the place. Six or 7 laps, I should say, remaining. 6.5 now. Oh, that's a bad voice crack. As Tiago keeps the lead from Caden. Quattro trying to gain. It's looking like the drivers out front are able just to keep themselves a little bit further ahead than the rest. But Caden now with DRS is going to be able to overtake, and Quattro is going to maybe try and overtake as well, but he hasn't gone for it. He's decided otherwise and has backed out. Tiago didn't even open his DRS there, heading down towards 10. Just an interesting call from him. Alfie's going to go down the inside here into 12. This could be a brilliant overtake if he gets this done. They go side by side here, and now they're going to be side by side down the straight, and Alfie has got himself up into the podium places. What a brilliant overtake that is, as Tiago moves himself back up into the lead of this race. Alfie has got by Quattro with an absolutely splendid move, and now with 5 laps remaining, is up into third place and is going to start to chase down the drivers ahead who look to be derating at some sort, as Caden is going to try and maybe re-overtake Tiago here. He opts otherwise, and Caden gets all out of shape there, and he's going to be under a little bit of pressure here from Alfie now. Alfie, known for his good overtakes, definitely probably got one of his best of the weekend there through 12 and 13. We're heading onto lap 30 very soon, and it's looking like it's going to be ETA Tiago, but Alfie is going to be able to put a lot of pressure here on Caden and possibly get up into second place and look for his second win of the season. And Alfie may be able to go for both of them here. It's 3 wide here into the first corner. 2 of them have to go off the track and have got the places. Look at this absolute scramble here as Alfie is going to look for it, and Quattro's going to look for it as well, as we see Alfie get by Caden and is up into second place. He was the only one out of all of them 3 who managed to stay on the track, and he has got himself up into second place, and Tiago manages to keep the lead as Quattro round the outside of Caden. He's up into third. This is going to be a brilliant end of things here, as Alfie getting very close to Tiago here. Only 3 laps remaining at the end of this one, and at the moment it's looking like it's going to be the Williams driver of ETA Tiago. Alfie with the slightly fresher tyres though means if he can get by, he should be able to bring home his second win of the season here from third on the grid. And Tiago's gone miles off the track there. I think he's got a better exit because of that. If it's not getting a warning, he may be able to be okay with that. Alfie is fine with him keeping the place for 1 lap longer. All of them have burnt their ERS, but Tiago actually has a fair bit of his left. The other 3 are a little bit out of shape in terms of their DRS, as the DRS train goes all the way back from first all the way down to 6th. Yet again, it looking like not a strategy blunder this time from Quattro, but just bad luck has put him out of contention of his race win, unless there's some drama here in the final few laps of this race. Alfie getting right up and close to Tiago here, and on the run down towards 10 with nearly two laps remaining, Tiago has the lead of the race. For how much longer? Alfie won the race in the US from overtaking on the last lap of the race. He is going to now close in on Tiago here, and on the penultimate lap of this race he will get DRS. He will power down the straight, and the Mercedes driver heading down in towards turn 1 now is going to see if he'll send it. He doesn't. We've only 2 laps left here, and Alfie still remains in second place. Tiago has burnt his ERS ever so slightly. He still has a large bit of it left. Alfie desperately trying to get by here, as he is gaining on Tiago, but he's not gaining enough. Heading now down through turn 6 and towards 7 now. It's looking like Williams are going to be able to get their first win of the season, and this time no, it won't be Randro 17. It's going to be the reserve of ETA Tiago, who I'm sure I'll desperately be trying to get into the league full time after this. Alfie's going to put him under pressure, but Tiago is seeing himself off really well. We're on to the last lap of this race now. It's now or never for the Mercedes driver of Alfie. He's a little bit closer this time than he has been, but of course Tiago will have that ERS to burn, but Alfie has the DRS and the tow, and into turn 1 it's WOR Alfie who takes the lead of this race and is up into first place. Quattro is going to try and follow him through, but he's a little bit too far back. Thiago is going to put him under pressure and is going to burn everything to try and have a go back down the inside and towards turn 4. They managed to keep it clean. Thiago back into the lead of the race, but for how much longer as Alfie goes down the inside? They make contact into turn 5 and Alfie stays ahead. Only a few more corners to go until we find out who is the winner of this Grand Prix. Will it be Thiago? Will it be Alfie? Will it maybe even be Quattro if these two hit into each other at the end? As Thiago is going to try it round the outside into turn 10. He goes wide and Alfie's going to stay with him and is going to keep the lead of this race. It is such a controversial end to this race, but it's looking like it's going to be Alfie. No, it's not. It's going to be Thiago. He's got past him, and it's going to be ETA Thiago to round the final corner and win the Spanish Grand Prix. Alfie can only manage second, and Caden has robbed the podium for third. But of course, his penalty drops him back to 6th. Quattro keeps the place, and Oven Curry in 4th. What an end to this race. Thiago getting the move done on the final corner and wins the Spanish Grand Prix. So Thiago wins this race by only 0.4 of a second from WOR Alfie. Quattro gets his fastest lap and ends up on the podium with Oven Curry in 4th, Hyper in 5th, with Caden in 6th, Marshy 7th, Rando 8th. A brilliant end to things here. And it's joy for Williams. They get their first win of the season, and it's the Portuguese driver of Thiago who gets it. We'll have the podiums next. And we'll see podium interview next. And we'll see what the driver's opinion was of that race. Until then, we will see you in a bit. Right, so we have the two drivers who are only able to join in with us. So we'll start with P2. So Alfie, of course, qualifying P3, and probably a disappointing qualifying for you. Talk us through it. How did it go?
It was poor performance from me. There was a lot of marbles on my final lap, and it lost me too much time for me to try and gain back and try and boost myself up a position. But is what it is, you know. That's just how this track functions on this game nowadays. So
yeah, and it was a good race for a time there. It looked like you could have had the win, and then there was other times where, of course, I thought when the safety car came out towards the end there that yourself and Quattro would be well and truly out of it, but you've managed to fight yourself back into it. Tell us about your race and how it went.
The start wasn't too bad. It was a bit hectic into turn one, and I had to take avoiding action. But obviously Quattro broke away quite easily on the softs. But then obviously Tiago and Caden with their own incident. I was in a race of my own until first safety car.
Yep.
Next safety car brought me back into it. I was behind Quattro, obviously doing quite well. And the last safety car, we missed the pits, and then it made us sit behind it. So we lost so much time and lost track position under the pit lane, which is unfortunate.
Yep. Now, of course, there was the great battle towards the end. Can you talk us through it there? Because obviously it looked there when you had the lead into one, it looked like you had it all wrapped up, but it all kind of Tiago came back at you. What was your point of view of it?
Yeah, I thought I did wrap it up into turn one. I think Tiago had much more ERS than me though, but I got ahead, but then into turn three, I got loads of spam invites from someone, so my screen was like
that's not ideal.
Flashing. Yeah, so I had a big snap, and then me and Tiago was pretty much side by side for the rest of the lap, and it was like hard but fair racing, and I enjoyed it.
It was brilliant, and I definitely enjoyed it as well, especially since you can imagine how boring the race was with only 8 drivers for the majority of it.
Definitely.
But yeah, that definitely kind of hyped it up towards the end, and it'll give us some content to put on the TikTok page maybe later on this evening. Of course, then up next will be Monaco. How do you feel for that? Are you confident, or are you worried?
Yeah, it's going to take a bit of practice to get up to grips around there, but and I know there's a few Monaco sweats here, so I'll be happy with just maybe a podium, you know, or top 5 with this current grid, you know. Not the strongest of tracks for me.
Yeah, of course. And this win, of course, now puts you up into the lead of the championship. Do you think you can go all the way and win it?
I'd like to stay humble and say there's always a chance, because there is with the grid, but I feel like I can do it. I believe in myself to try do it.
Yeah, of course. That's a great answer. You couldn't have put it much better myself. Well done, Alfie, on the podium, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So, Tiago, on your debut, what a race and what a win. Yep. Yeah.
Wait, sorry, can I interrupt? Tiago, they can't hear you on the stream.
Oh yeah,
they
you'll
can't
have to
hear
get
us.
your voice on. Do you know how to do that? Are you PS4 or PS5? Yeah, so it should just be in the party. Go into the party settings, the three buttons, and then it should be party settings. No, sorry. I think it's voice chat settings, sorry. And then you have share your voice and allow.
It was on don't allow.
Alright.
I think you guys can hear me now.
Yeah, that should be perfect.
Um,
So probably just go from where you were. So of course you're. I think it was the incident with Caden into one.
Yes. Yeah. So what happened was basically tried to put the brake bias up, but unfortunately put it down, and then I rear locked, which was stupid. So yes, I went into the rear of him. Then I basically went back, gave some positions back, and just want to let him pass because it was not fair. Because I think he was up for a very good race.
Yeah.
So I put him in front of me again, and then we both climbed up, both on the field. And then the safety car was very ideal for us, just in front of us. So we both could have just jump into the pits, and the guys in front couldn't. So we could go to the softs and be P1 and P2, which was ideal. And then the battle on the end was very important, of course. I tried actually to keep him behind in turn 1, but I managed, he was too quick. I saw he was too quick, so I tried to keep like 40% ERS. And then I knew if I had a chance in the second DRS, I could dive bomb and get in front of him, which eventually worked.
Yeah, of course, it was a great race, and there was a lot of strategy to it, and obviously towards the end there, it all just kind of came together for you.
Yes.
I have to say, fair play to that. Up next will be Monaco. Now, obviously, we don't know yet what the numbers will be like for that, but if you are joining with us, how do you feel for that if you are racing, of course?
I gotta be honest, man, that's going to be a very hard race. I'm a pet player, so Monaco is horrible.
Don't say that.
But I think if I get a good qualifying in Monaco, which is possible, I can stay ahead and then just keep the race clean. But I hope I get a chance for racing there, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Now, of course, I was saying kind of to myself almost during the stream as well that I would be looking maybe at trying to get you as a full-time driver. Would you be interested in that? And if so, do you think that you have a possibility of being maybe in the championship battle in a few races' time?
Well, of course, I'd like to be a full-time driver because, yes, I was searching for another league to drive in because that just keeps you up and helps you practice and gets better at the game.
Of course, yeah. Obviously,
and about the championship standings, I think I can have a fair shot at it, but I don't want to say too much. Same as Alfia, I want to stay a little bit humble because anything can happen the next races. I mean, I can go out like first lap in Monaco and then I'm very far off the championship again, so
yeah, of course.
I'm not sure what will happen.
Yeah, no, obviously this evening isn't a great representation of the league. Obviously, I think it's our lowest ever driver count we've ever had, which I will give cut a bit of slack. I think we were supposed to have 13 tonight. 4 didn't show up, and then the other ones all cancelled. Obviously, heading close to Christmas, you can kind of expect that. But we should have a lot more back for Monaco. I know there's a few drivers who are pretty much only want to race this season in Monaco, so we should have a lot more, and hopefully we can see you next week. Very well done on the win.
I'm sure that will happen. So and have a nice Christmas days.
All right, thank you, and well done to Alfie as well.
Yes, well done to Alfie.
Thank you. Have a good Christmas, guys.
Thanks.
So that is us finished for this race. We will see you again, of course, next week in Monaco. But until then, have a very good Christmas. I've been Gaffo, and good night.